Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my afternoon tea time and a card, episode 44. Can you guys believe it? Just a quick, I'm trying to think how to word this. I get a lot of people that message me either by email or private message that can never find my videos. My videos are always on our Facebook page. I'm not sure how you find videos on your phone, but on a laptop, all you have to do is go to the top and click on media and then click on videos, and all my videos remain there. So hello everyone, I'm so glad you're here. I do have a couple things to show you before I get started. Just reminding everyone that we still have the Hey Chick and Hey Birthday Chick bundles going on. Those are the two really cute stamp sets. This one back from 2017 that we brought back. And we now have the dies to go with it, and a lot of extra dies in this one. And the same thing with the Hey Birthday Chick. We have the dies. A lot of extras like this cute little fence, this little feed bag, the little confetti for birthday. So this is still going on, and don't forget that if you order any of these 4 products, either on their own or as a bundle, I have, actually this says 10, but I have 11 free project sheets that I will email you just for ordering any of these products. Now, some other good news that we have a new bundle coming in March. Stampin' Up! Is trying to introduce something new every month, and I love this one. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the products. Let me bring them all in. As you can see, it's butterflies. This is called the Butterfly Bouquet Suite, and it starts on March 2nd. So as demonstrators, because we are demonstrators, we get to order a whole month before customers do. And this is just a beautiful suite of products. We start out with the stamp set. Look at the beautiful butterflies. Now you guys know I love butterflies because my business, everything to do with my business has butterflies as my branding. And then look at all of the dies. Now what's great about this, you can stamp. Oh, you know what? I need to get my stamp. I've been using it. I actually have it sitting in my Stamparatus. So this is one large stamp. It has all of the butterflies on one stamp. Then you have the dies. You can cut them all out with one cut. And then we also have the detail dies here that you can do something different with. So a set of 12 dies and one large stamp set. And it doesn't stop there. We then have, oh, I need my die because I got to show you this sheet. I'm going to dig this die back out. So we have this beautiful designer paper. Let me just go through the patterns with you. Let me just see if I can go to the beginning. Okay, so we have this one. Look at this. Number 2. Number 3. 4, 5, and 6. This one reminds me of camouflage. Now, let's go ahead and go back to the first one. So I'm going to dig this one out just to show you. Guess what? This die cuts out right in the middle. It cuts out all of these butterflies. Isn't that fabulous? And then I made a card just this week using the leftover pieces on each side. I cut these out and I used them on a card. You'll see that later. So what I've been doing is I keep a little baggie because I stamp, let's say I stamp one color and I only need one of the butterflies. So you're stamping 6, I think there's in the cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 6 in each cluster. So you can see here that I stamped all of these, and I only used 2. So I'm taking everything that I don't use, keeping it in a baggie to use for future projects. So I just love that you can just stamp and cut 6 butterflies out all at once. And then we have this beautiful wood grain paper. Now I forget what it's called. I gotta dig my cheat sheet out. This is called the Natural Touch Specialty Paper. I'm gonna bring it up close so you can see. It has a little bit of embossing, so it looks deep. It's got the wood grain on one side and then the little speckled on side number 2. So this is another product in that suite. So March 2nd, be on the lookout for that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm on a team where we're doing free project sheets. I think there's 12 people signed up so far. So if you buy any of the butterfly projects, you'll get a free project sheet from me with all of the projects. Okay, let's get started. So today we're doing the gilded leafing. I just want to go over the leafing a little bit before I get started. So I keep mine in a shoebox, and you'll understand why once I dig it out. So let me take the top off. You'll see that I have it all in the container, and I have a sponge that I use. This is just the empty container. Because when you play with this, so let me just look how easy it moves just by doing this with my hand. It kind of just wants to float everywhere. So by keeping it in a shoebox, it's intact. It hopefully won't go all over your counter. And when I'm done playing with it, I put the lid back on right away. So let me bring out the layers I'm going to use for the first project. I'm doing 3 cards for you today because I'm showing you 3 different ways to actually lay the gilded leafing on your cards. For the first one, I'm using the Punch Party stamp set. Now, this is a host stamp set that you can earn for free during celebration. And you guys, there's less than 2 weeks left during celebration. So if there's any of the free products you want to earn, make sure you do it by the end of this month. And the good news today, I'm using this stamp set, I think, on all 3 cards. I have an extra one. So I'm going to do a door prize winner. From all the comments. As you guys comment, I'm going to copy all the comments. Oh, Melanie, I have to laugh. She said, don't sneeze on the gilded. And that's true. Do not sneeze. So I'm going to pick a name for the stamp set. And then I'm also going to pick a name for the winner for all the cards I'm going to create today. Okay, so for card number 1, Punch Party. I'm using the little postage stamp frame. I'm using the little heart and then the happy birthday. I've got the rectangular postage punch, Versamark ink, gorgeous grape ink, and I had some gold twine left over from one of my paper pumpkin kits. So I'm using that, I think, on 2 of the 3 cards. My card base is gorgeous grape, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So I'm going to fold on the score line. I've got Highland Heather. This one measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Not Highland Heather. This is Purple Posy. Sorry. Purple Posy scrap, and then just some basic white scrap. This is all for stamping. So let me go ahead and bring the card in. I did it a different color. This one is Misty Moonlight and Balmy Blue. You can see that I used the gilded leafing as a frame around layer number 2, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Now, in order to do this one, you need the Versamark ink, and you also need heat and stick powder and a heat tool. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to do the gilded leafing first. So I'm just going to move everything out of the way just so it doesn't go flying. I'm going to use the Purple Posy layer. Let's see, I'm going to put that right there so you guys can see it. We're going to do the Versamark ink. I'm not going to bring the leafing in right now just because I'm going to be moving around. I don't want it flying. You're going to take the Versamark ink and you're going to turn it upside down. And you're just going to rub. You can hear that I'm rubbing very well because it's making some noise. Okay, you can't see it, right? but you will once I put the powder on. This is a heat and stick powder. If you guys have never used heat and stick powder, it's a powder that you heat up and it melts and becomes tacky and becomes an adhesive. So I'm going all around all four sides. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and, okay, so you can see I have it on all four sides. Now I'm gonna put this away so I don't make a mess. And we're gonna heat this up and you're gonna see it melts really quickly. So I'm using my heat tool. Okay, you can see the glue is melting already. It's nice and shiny. And it becomes very, very tacky. Now this heat and stick powder is actually from the mini catalog. You won't see it in the large catalog or the annual catalog. And I think I have maybe 3 containers in my little plastic container. Okay. Now let me show you. You'll see how shiny that is around all four sides. Very carefully, we're just going to take this, turn it upside down, and push it in the gilded leafing. So you guys can see how floaty it is. It just wants to go everywhere. Now we're going to have a big mess. Look at that. Isn't that cool? This is where the sponge comes in. Then you just take your sponge and just wipe it off on the sides. And as you're wiping it off, you're also pressing it into the glue. So look how easy this is. And to me, it's not messy at all. You just have to make sure you go on the sides and like cut whatever is loose there. You cut it right off. Okay, look, I'm done already. So there's that layer. Now I'm going to bring in my gorgeous grape. And I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping. So gorgeous grape ink. I think that's what yeah. And, okay, I already lost one of my stamps. Isn't that awful? Oh, it's right here in front of me. Duh. Okay. We're going to do one with the purple posy. And we're going to do 4 with the basic white. Look how nice and crisp this image is. One more. Okay, now we're going to do the happy birthday on all 5 frames. I really love this stamp set. It's got a little bit of everything. There's 4 and 5. Now we're going to do the rectangular postage punch. And you know what? I think I need a scrap. Let me go ahead. I need my paper cutter. Hold on. Okay. I'm just going to cut myself a little handle to use so I can insert my scrap paper. When it's too short, you just add a handle on the end. That way you can feed it right through to the punch. Now this one's too long. I'm going to get her done here in a little bit if I can get things organized. There's my first one. I better cut this one too. I think it's going to be too long. Here's number 2. Oh, rats. Here's number 3. Whoops, I threw my handle away. I need my handle. Well, actually, I don't need it for this one. One more, you guys. And then we can just start gluing everything. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring this part in. And I kind of just glued everything crooked at an angle, the first 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some liquid glue. I'm going to make it so that these are, I'm going to move that little handle off, so that these are kind of like so. Then I'm going to add dimensionals to the other 3, of course. I know you guys like to tease me about my dimensionals. Okay, I'm going to glue this one first, and then I'm going to tuck the other 2. That's going to go right here. Oh, isn't that pretty with the gilded leafing? Now, I know that I'm going to cut most of these off, so I'm just going to put the dimensionals on one end. I'm going to tuck that just like that. Same thing with this one on the opposite end. And I'm going to tuck that. Oh, thanks for the hearts, you guys. I can see you guys love this. Okay, now I'm just going to bring in my paper snips, if I can find them. And snip this even. You could use your paper cutter. And guess what? More dimension. But first, I got to stamp the heart. I'm going to do 2 hearts with Gorgeous Grape. Oh, I don't know what card is my favorite, because I'm a blue person. My favorite color is blue, but I really like this. Okay, now we're going to glue this in place on the card base. So if you guys, if this gilded leafing intimidates you guys, no, it's so easy. After I show you all 3 ways of getting it glued on, you're really going to have to go out there and buy some. Okay, there's that. Now I'm just going to wrap this around twice. And again, I think this was from one of our paper pumpkin kits. It was just some pretty gold ribbon that I had left over, and I thought I'd use it on these cards today. I'm going to create a bow. And card number 1 will be complete. Okay, look, here's card number 1. Which one's your favorite? You know, even though I'm a blue person, I really like this one. I'm not sure which one I would pick for my favorite. Anyway, somebody will win all the cards I'm making today. Okay, let me get set up for card number 2. Some more pretty colors. Okay, this time I am using the Rooted in Nature stamp set. The only image I'm using in is the tree right here, but isn't this a pretty set? If you guys don't have this one. And this one also has the dies that go through it with it. There's 12 dies. I can't remember if they're all in one. Yeah, I have them all in one set here. So Rooted in Nature. Also need a sponge. Now I keep a little container for sponges that I use with glue. And this time from the Punch Party, I'm using the oval. And I'm using Hope You Feel Better Really Soon. Blackberry Bliss ink. Here's my little tree image I'm using. I've got the water painter, a scrap piece of white, and this is the card. I'm going to show you how to do the gilded leafing with a stamp image on this one. Look how nice and shiny that is. Isn't that pretty? So here's card number 2. And this is gray granite, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. This is the Regal's designer paper, 5 inches by 3 3/4. I'm not going to glue this on right now because we need to put the ribbon around it. Then I have a scrap piece of the Blackberry Bliss, a scrap piece of basic white, that's for the sentiment. And then this piece that goes in the middle actually measures 4 1/4 by 3. Now this is the thick Whisper White. So yes, we're going to stamp with glue so that we can glue the tree on there. But first, let me go ahead and do the sentiment layers. Okay, and you know what? I forgot my punch. We need the double oval punch. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the oval. Then I'm going to do the sentiment on the inside. And we're going to cut that one out. I might need my little handle. Let's see. Oh, I can get it, I think. I'm going to turn it around. Nope. Hold on. I got to trim again. Okay, let's try this again. So there's my little oval. And then, oh, you know what? I forgot to dig out the scallop. We have one that has images on the scallop. So let me grab another block. And I'm going to stamp the Blackberry Bliss on Blackberry Bliss. You can see that it shows up nicely. Okay, there's that. And I'm just going to layer those together with dimensionals. And then we're going to do the magic with the gilded leafing. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now, let me put the ink away so I don't make a mess. We're going to use liquid glue. I'm just going to put some on a scrap piece of paper. Now, one thing, we are going to add adhesive to the stamp image. So we're going to bring in some wipes just to wipe that nice and clean. Whoops. As soon as I do the stamping. I don't want that to stay on my stamp. So I'm going to use the sponge. I'm just going to tap it. And then I'm going to add glue to my image. Liberally. You can see it's all nice and white. I'm going to stamp it over to the left. It is nice and slippery, so make sure and one thing, let me see if I did that right. Don't stay on your paper too long. If you do, it becomes very tacky and it's actually going to peel the cardstock away. Okay, so now let's bring in our little gilded leafing. We're going to go ahead, press that in. Again, we have a mess going on, but we're going to fix that with our sponge. Look, you guys, look how easy this was. Isn't that the neatest? And look how shiny that is. So this, the first one we did with the heat and stick powder. The second one we did with the liquid glue. But again, the tip is do not leave your stamp sitting on your cardstock too long. It'll peel the cardstock right off. Okay, now I'm going to bring my ink back in. I'm going to use the water painter to add a little bit of color under the tree. I'm just going to squeeze. I just want a little bit. I'm just going to quickly, that's it. Now, I do need to go ahead and clean my stamp. Remember, I told you we need to clean this right away because we don't want the glue to dry on there. I'm even going to take this while I keep stamping. I'm going to lay this on my stamp just to make sure that it stays damp and I clean it well. Okay, so isn't that neat? Isn't that a neat way to do the gilded? Okay, let's bring everything back in. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, no, I don't need to glue this yet because I need to put the ribbon around. So let's go ahead and add the basic white layer with dimensionals. Oh, Melanie, see, she was reminding me to clean my stamp. Make sure you do that right away because you don't want it to end up getting that gobby glue on there. Okay, there's my layer. I'm going to use the same twine from Paper Pumpkin. Go around it twice. Go ahead and make the bow. I need to tighten that up. There we go. So I expect to see some samples on the page using this gilded leafing. I know some of you guys bought it, but you haven't attempted to use it yet. It's just so easy. Okay, let me go ahead and trim my twine. Now we can go ahead and glue this in place. Oh, and card number 3 is a really neat one too. Okay, let me make sure my twine, I'm going to go down a little bit on my twine right there. Glue that in the center. More dimensionals. Now because I have twine here, I'm going to add my dimensionals at the top and the bottom, so my twine's going to fit right in the middle. And there's card number 2. Look how nice and shiny that is. Isn't that neat? I love it. Okay, clear the counter one more time. Now I need to bring more stuff in for card number 3. Okay, so let's review. Card number 1 was heat and stick powder. Card number 2 was the liquid glue. Card number 3, we're going to use tear and tape. I have lots of pretty paper here. These are all from the paper stacks. They're just scraps. Wait till you see what I did with them. Now the card base I used here was the Pretty Peacock. This time I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. It's actually 5.5 by 8.5. And I embossed the front with, is this the Swirls and Curls? I can't remember the name of the embossing folder. I'm also using the rectangle stitch dies. I've got number 2 and number 3 that I use. I am going to have to cut, but I did, the number 2 is already cut ahead of time. I have a piece of scrap that we're going to play with, and then we're going to cut. And then another piece of basic white for the sentiment. Okay, let's get ready to show you what I did with this one. This is really neat too. So this is where I added the tear and tape in between my pieces of designer paper with the gilded leafing. Okay, so let's start out with a scrap piece of paper. Oh, you guys like that one too. Oh, let me finish first. I've got the heart from Punch Party, and then You Make My Heart Happy sentiment with Bermuda Bay and Flirty Flamingo inks. So the first step, we're going to start out, I'm going to go in the same order that I did here. I'm just going to cut out a strip, and I'm going to cut them at an angle. I don't want them to be straight up and down. And let's see, I'm going to use the wood grain side this time. Okay, so I have number 1 is down. We're going to use tear and tape. You have to make sure it's right up against the designer paper. So there's the first one. Now, let's see, we're going to go with the, I think that's Melon Mambo. Again, I'm going to cut at an angle. Whoops. And this time, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I wish I had a different pattern here, but the wording is sideways, so I don't want to do that. You know what? Hold on. What else do I have? Oh, it's almost all wood grain. That's okay. I'm going to butt that up against the tear and tape. Here's another layer of tear and tape. Color number 3 is Pretty Peacock. We're going to have all wood grain except for one. That's okay. Cut this one at an angle. Glue it down. Hopefully I can fit all 5 pieces in here. I'll have to go a little skinnier on my next 2. Tear and tape. Now we've got Flirty Flamingo. Let's just do a little skinny one on this one. Let's see, I'm gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna go this way. Let's bring it down just a tad. One more tear and tape. And on this one, I don't really need to cut it. I'm just gonna add my glue. Okay, so now we have this mess going on. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my die cutting machine, and we're going to use square number 3 or rectangle number 3. And I'm just going to kind of place that somewhere where I like with the both ends look. Just like that. Dummy me, I just added my clear plate right in the gilded leafing. Okay, let's roll this through. Now I have my rectangle all cut out. Now look how cute that is. Okay, now we need to peel all of the tear and tape off. So we've got 4, oh, let me bring the card back in too. We've got 4 of these to peel off. Now comes, ooh, look, I just moved this and it's flying everywhere. Let me just pick up the little pieces here. Okay, now we're gonna take this, because it's nice and sticky, we're gonna push that in. Look at the mess. The magic of our sponge. Oops, I need to re-glue my designer paper. I think I didn't add enough adhesive there. Let me pull this off so I don't lose it in here. Look how nice and neat and even the tear and tape turns out. And remember, you got to do the sides. Now I got a little piece right here that has a little bit of white that does not want to be covered for some reason. Maybe I have a piece of the tape there. That's okay. I'm gonna fix that by adding just a little bit of glue, because I don't want any white showing. There, I just fixed it. Okay, so there is, look at the nice pretty gold stripes. Okay, first, before I go any further, I'm gonna put the lid on here. Because look, it's everywhere. Now I need to glue my designer paper back on. Okay, we're back in business. Now let's bring in the white. Oh, look. I gotta make sure that's not on there so it'll stamp correctly. The Did I get it all? I think I got it all. I hope. Okay, now because I'm doing an opposite color for the card base, I'm going to start the heart out with Flirty Flamingo. And then the sentiment with Bermuda Bay. And I forgot to grab my heart punch. Okay, this is from the Heart Punch Pack. It is going to cut some of the little designs on the end, but it's pretty. And now we just need to glue everything in place. So here's the rectangle number 2 that I cut with basic white. Then we have the gilded leafing layer with dimensionals. So you guys, I am really in love with this stuff, and you know, I thought I would show you guys 3 different ways to glue it down in case you don't have one of the adhesives that I showed you. Now, doesn't the white look great to separate the 2 layers? It really makes everything stand out. Last but not least, we just need to glue the heart in place with dimensionals. So which one is your favorite technique? I showed you 3 different ways to glue these down. Let me bring them all back in case you're just tuning in. So the first one is with the tear and tape. The second one was using the liquid glue. And the third one was swiping with the Versamark ink around all of the edges. And again, I will pick a name to win a set of these cards, and I will also pick a name to win the door prize for the Punch Party stamp set. Now, a reminder, you guys, next week I have a Stamp With Me class. Make sure your products and layers are all ready for class so you can stamp along with me. To find that, just go up to the top on your laptop and click on events, and you'll see the event, the Stamp With Me for February. Just click on that and I have a listing of everything you need. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope I was able to teach you a couple different ways to use the gilded leafing, and I hope you guys enjoyed them. See you next week.